28 years old, famous since 13, every dream you've ever had. He bought it twice. This is Justin Bieber, pop icon, global superstar, and once upon a time, nearly broke. You see the cars, the mansions, the watches are dripping. In diamonds, you see the lifestyle magazines, the Instagram posts. The world thinks he has it all. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. Behind every Lamborghini wrapped in leopard print, behind every penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows, there's a story about money and how fast it disappears. They discovered him on YouTube, a kid from Canada with a voice, Scooter Braun. Saw potential. Usher saw gold. By 16, Justin Bieber was worth $500,000. By 18, $100 million. The numbers kept climbing. $500 million. Some say $1 billion. But numbers, they're just illusions on paper. Because in 2022, something happened. The pop prince who bought exotic cats for $35,000, who gifted his friend a chain worth $150,000, who purchased a Bored Ape NFT for $1.3 million. That same prince stood on the edge of financial collapse, and he had to sell something he swore he never would: his music, his legacy. $200 million gone in exchange for survival. This isn't a story about wealth, it's a story about what wealth does to you. When you're young, when you're famous, when the world tells you nothing will ever run out. Until it does. Let's go inside. Not the mansions, not the garages. Inside the purchases. The ones that made headlines. The ones that seemed impossible. The ones that, looking back now, tell a different story. A story about a boy who had everything and almost lost it all. Justin Bieber didn't just buy cars, he bought identities. At 16, most teenagers are learning to parallel park. Justin? He was parking a Ferrari F430. Not red, not yellow, matte black. Because when you're that young and that famous, you don't want to blend in, but you also don't want to be too obvious. The Ferrari cost him somewhere between $180,000 and $235,000. He added custom black rims, drove it through Beverly Hills like it was a regular Tuesday. But here's what nobody talks about. That car wasn't just transportation. It was proof. Proof that he'd made it. Proof that the kid from Stratford, Ontario wasn't a kid anymore. Proof that fame had a price tag, and he could afford it. Then came the Lamborghini Aventador, $450,000. Gray at first, then red. Then mint green with the words "cash only" spray painted on the door. The internet had opinions. People laughed, people criticized, but Justin kept driving. Because that's what you do when you're 18 and the world is watching. You push boundaries, you make statements. Even if those statements don't always make sense. The Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport, $2 million. A gift from rapper Birdman. Except it wasn't really a gift, not in the way gifts work for normal people. It was a loaner, a symbol, something to be photographed with, returned later. But for a moment, it was his, and in that moment, the world saw him differently. They saw excess, power, the kind of life most people only dream about in passing. But dreams, they have a way of turning into nightmares when you're not paying attention. The watches. Oh, the watches. Justin Bieber didn't just collect time, he collected proof of it. Proof that every second of his life was worth more than most people make in a year. His first luxury watch, $13,890. He bought it in 3 different colors. Because why choose when you can have them all? Then came the Rolex, $34,000, gold casing, diamonds on the dial. A statement piece for a 19-year-old who barely needed to check the time. His phone did that, but phones don't make the same impression when you walk into a room. Then, the big one. The one with 255 diamonds embedded into every surface. $300,000 for a watch. Think about that. $300,000. For most people, that's a house, a down payment on a future. For Justin, it was something to wear on a Thursday. But it wasn't reckless. Not to him. It was currency, social currency, the kind that opens doors, gets you into rooms, makes people take you seriously, even when you're still figuring out who you are. Even when you're still a kid. Then there were the houses. Because when you're Justin Bieber, one house isn't enough. At 18, he bought his first mansion. Calabasas, California. $6.5 million, 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a bar for parties, a private gym, a massage room. A view of a lake that most people only see in screensavers. He threw parties, lots of them. Neighbors complained, paparazzi camped outside. But Justin didn't care. This was his kingdom, and he was the king. He sold that house to Khloe Kardashian in 2014 for $7.2 million. A profit. Smart, right? Except he didn't stop there. He bought another mansion and another. Beverly Hills, $8.5 million. Sold it in 2021 for nearly $8. Beverly Hills. Again, 11,000 square feet, 28.5 million. This one he kept. This one became home. 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, an infinity pool, gardens that looked like they belonged in a resort. Him and Haley, newlyweds building a life, building a fortress. Then there was the penthouse in Amsterdam. Dam Square, 3 floors, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a private elevator, $26 million, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking ancient European streets, minimalist design, neutral tones, dark hardwood, a rooftop terrace for romantic nights under the stars. Because when you're a global superstar, you don't just live in one country, you live everywhere, and everywhere needs to feel like home. But here's the thing about homes, they're expensive, not just to buy, to maintain, to staff, to secure, to fill with furniture that matches the vibe, to keep photographers from climbing over walls, to make sure the world sees you living the dream, even when the dream starts to crack. And it did crack. Because in 2022, Justin Bieber sold his entire music catalog, every song, every lyric, every note he'd ever recorded. $200 million. His manager Scooter Braun told him to wait, at least until January, for the tax break. But Justin couldn't wait. He needed the money. Not for another car, not for another mansion, for survival. Because somewhere between the Lamborghinis and the Savannah kittens and the diamond-encrusted watches, the money started disappearing, faster than it came in. Lavish purchases, parties, bad investments. A Bored Ape NFT he bought for $1.3 million that's now worth $12,000. Advice from people who didn't have his best interests at heart. And suddenly, the boy, who had everything, had nothing left to sell except the one thing that made him who he was, his music. The thing that started it all, the thing that was supposed to last forever, gone, in exchange for a check that kept the lights on, but couldn't bring back what was lost. People don't talk about this part. They talk about cars, the houses, the lifestyle. They talk about Haley's engagement ring. 6 to 10 carats, oval-shaped diamond, designed by Jack Solo, $500,000. They talk about the Stewie Griffin necklace, $25,000, 12-carat rubies and diamonds. A custom piece because he loves Family Guy. They talk about the exotic cats, sushi and tuna, Savannah breed, $35,000. PETA came after him, said he should have been adopted from a shelter. He clapped back. Keep the cats. Because when you're Justin Bieber, you don't apologize for the things you love. Even when people say you should, they talk about the Fisker Karma, a gift from his manager on his 18th birthday. $120,000? Chrome? Wrap. LED lights. A car that screamed looked at me. Even though it was a commercial flop, even though it broke down constantly, even though it got discontinued. It didn't matter. Because it was his, and it was different. And different, that's what fame requires. But they don't talk about the cost. Not the dollar amount. The other cost, the one you can't calculate on a spreadsheet. The cost of growing up in public. Of having every purchase analyzed, every decision questioned, every mistake is immortalized. The cost of being told you're invincible. Until you're not. The cost of realizing that money, it doesn't fix everything. Sometimes it creates new problems, bigger problems, problems that don't have easy solutions.